We find ourselves in a period of mass global extinctions. Last year, the United Nations reported at least 1 million species are now under threat of extinction. Everything is connected and everything is intertwined. And when we say we're losing biodiversity, we're losing species. So as one species of 13 million on the planet, we're having the largest impact, but also our survival is dependent on the planet's survival. And when you lose biodiversity, you start to have what we call a monotypic system.
It's really important when working with vulnerable species that we're proactive and prevent any further population loss or population declines. The bushfires have been a good example of showing why we need to be proactive rather than reactive with our conservation and protecting our species all across the world, not just in Australia. These larger events can have a really big impact on species that are already vulnerable.
The Australasian Wildlife Genomics Group's been at Sydney University for about 15 years. Our group specialises in looking at the genes of the immune system and the interplay between genetics and disease. Time is really critical for a lot of wildlife species globally, but it's particularly important for a lot of our species here in Australia. Genomics is a complicated field, and with more sequencing technology becoming cheaper, we're able to get more and more data, which is fabulous. So we can answer all sorts of kinds of evolutionary and biological and conservation questions. The downside of more and more data is you need a bigger and bigger computer to process that data. So we partnered with Ronin and AWS to, rather than trying to make our data fit the compute that we had available, why can't we just make the computer fit the data that we have?
So the great thing about research in the cloud is it's near instant to change direction, to learn what you need, to expand your resources to a crazy amount, but then shrink it all back down in a matter of minutes. That sort of flexibility suits research really well. We've seen requests from researchers. The amount of infrastructure needed, but only for a week, would make a bank weep. So not wasting any of the research funding or capital is why the cloud is just perfect for research.
What Ronin does is it helps unlock the power of the AWS Cloud Services platform and simplify it for researchers to be able to access.
Ronin is a self-service portal. We wanted researchers to focus on research, not the IT stuff to get there. We were lucky enough to have Intel fund a proof of concept here at the university, and by the end of this proof of concept we had so much running, so much proper research happening in the cloud that this became a tool that they're going to go forward with.
With Amazon Web Services and Ronin, not only did we have access to basically unlimited computing resources, but we were also able to customize our compute resources for each different genomics pipeline so that they could be run more efficiently and cost effectively as well. So the benefits of using AWS and Ronin is that you can have no prior experience with cloud computing and log into the system, create a custom machine, upload your data, install your software and start running your scripts in under an hour.
And so what AWS has allowed us to do is it's given us that flexibility to be able to do our analysis in a more rapid fashion than we've ever had to do before. Why do we need it to be more rapid? We just need to look around the world to see the current climatic crisis we find ourselves in. If we start creating this database and this library, we'll have that information there for when these catastrophic events happen again, and they will happen again.
Carolyn's goal is to empower other organisations, other research institutes to contribute their threatened species genome libraries into this large global library to help advance global research in this space for conservation, biodiversity, sustainability.
It's really important to ensure that we bring the rest of the global community along the same journey that we've been on for a large number of years.
This project with Carolyn and Paris and the team, and especially with the Ronin guys, it turned out to be probably the thing that I'm most proud of in my body of work that I've done in the last few years at AWS. It felt like we tangibly helped with the time to science, time to paper, time to outcome, potentially time to help reduce the impact of climate change.
People often ask me, how do I stay hopeful and positive in this scenario, particularly in light of what's been going on? And I like to think that, it's really important to focus on the solutions and not the problem. And the solutions are not going to come from one scientist or one industry. It really is, how do you partner everybody who've got a variety of different expertise to make sure that we can really move ourselves forward and build a better planet.